Well, we're in a bunker, and I hate bunkers. I'm terrified of these things. Every time I'm having a good round, I'll land in the bunker, and then my score just inflates terribly. So Ed's gonna try to teach me how to get out of these bunkers effectively, hopefully improve my scores a bit.
I would hope so. It's the easiest shot in golf. You have more room for error in a bunker, greenside bunker anyway, than any shot in golf. So, but it is a matter of learning how to do it correctly and technique.
Yep.
I'll start by saying this. Most of you can't do it the way tour players do it.
Okay.
But unfortunately, that's how most people are taught how to hit bunker shots. They're taught to open their face really wide. They're told to open their stance really wide. And they're told to cut across it and swing outside in.
That's exactly what I've been trying to do, maybe to not so much success.
Right. Well, unfortunately for you, I would hate to be a bearer of bad news, but you don't have enough club head speed to hit bunker shots that way. The reason the tour players are hitting them that way, for one, their greens are really hard and fast, so they have to hit really soft shots.
Yep.
But two, they have such great club head speed that they're actually, to hit a 10-yard bunker shot, if they played it from a more square position, they almost couldn't swing easy enough. Okay? So they're opening in the face, cutting across it to hit softer shots and to take off speed.
Yeah.
And for those of us that aren't blessed with 120, 125 mile an hour club head speed with drivers, you're not going to be effective in the bunker opening the face and cutting across it.
Sure.
And so for those of you that have lots of club head speed, for those of you that are good bunker players and you aim left and open the face, if you're good, keep doing it. But if you're lousy at that, there you go. I can help you. We're going to swing much more down our target line, if not even to the right, just like we're trying to do full swing.
I love it.
We're going to play from a lot squarer club face positions, and then the key is learning to bottom out correctly.
Okay.
And then, I know I'm doing a lot of talking. This was our intro, and I just took off talking on Patrick here, but you also need to experiment with what clubs you're using and how much bounce is on the bottom. And so for most players, if you really don't have 12 degrees of bounce or more on your sand wedge, it's probably not enough bounce.
Okay.
And so, and that being said, there's some specialty sand wedge clubs like the Alien and the Sure Out from Hogan from years ago that have a tremendous amount of bounce and big wide flanges. And for those of you that really struggle in bunkers, those specialty clubs aren't bad.
Okay.
And so a lot of that infomercial club stuff you see is nothing but junk, but the wedges aren't bad if you're trying to get out of the bunker and can't. So I'd recommend experimenting with that a little bit. The other thing before I start into technique, whenever we get in a greenside bunker, our first goal is to get out in one shot on the green.
Yep.
Then maybe to get it close to the hole where we can get it up and down be our next goal. And then hole it'd be our third goal if we can ever get to that competent a level. But to be able to hit it close to the hole, you have to be able to control your distance. And Patrick, as you know, with wedge shots out off the turf, you know I like to practice the yardages and to learn my yardages, how to hit it 10 yards, 20 yards, 30 yards, 40 yards.
That's helped me tremendously practicing that. Yep.
Well, if you can do that off the turf, one of the things I learned from Phil Rogers was in a properly maintained bunker, I'll put that caveat in there, with normal amount of sand and properly maintained, it's a 3-to-1 ratio out of the sand.
Okay.
So if you have a 10-yard bunker shot, you need to swing like it's a 30-yard shot out of the grass.
Okay.
That's how much the sand dampens the shot, because we're not hitting the ball, we're hitting the sand.
Yep.
And the force of the sand is what makes the ball get out of the bunker. So a 10-foot bunker shot's a 30-foot shot out of the grass.
Yeah.
A 20-yard bunker shot, 60 yards. How far can you hit a sand wedge full swing?
Full swing, probably 60 is.
So let's
that's
say
about
60.
The most, yeah.
So the farthest you can hit this out of a bunker is 20 yards. And so if you have a 30-yard shot,
I need a more wedge or.
yes, you do. So what's your 90-yard club?
Gap wedge, 50 degree. Yep.
Then that's what you would use for a 30-yard bunker shot.
Okay.
A 40-yard bunker shot would be your 120 club.
Yeah, probably looking at
9 iron.
Yeah.
So the modern clubs with the flanges and the soles that are on the bottom, you all will be surprised at how good a bunker shot you can hit with a pitching wedge, a gap wedge, even 9 iron. And especially if you're, cavity back, perimeter weighted clubs,
Yeah.
have pretty good soles. For you ladies out there that are watching, keep that in mind. If your 60-yard club is your pitching wedge, well, most of your greenside bunkers are probably going to be hit with a pitching wedge because you don't have enough loft or higher.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. That might be the best thing on this video that I'll tell you is that 3-to-1 ratio.
Yeah, that's really helpful.
And it'll help you. So, so keep that in mind. Okay. Okay. So the first thing when we start learning how to set up the bunker shots correctly and experimenting with setup is one pretty cool thing about a practice bunker is you can draw lines in it.
Yep.
For our purposes, just to show up on camera better, I'm going to use this orange alignment stick that'll hopefully show up. If my target line where I want this to go up on the green, into this back left part of the green, is on this line, you can see I've got a target line here, and then hopefully you can see I could also, if I was on my own practicing, could just draw a line in the bunker with my club.
Yep.
A normal shot, full swing with sand wedge, my feet, hips, shoulders would be parallel. And so I would still have a toe line and all that would be parallel to my target line. So the tour players would play from a very much open stance with a very open club face and then swing down their toe line and hit a bunker shot. Like I said, they have tremendous club head speed, and so they're trying to hit it high and soft, and so with that much club head speed, they need to open their stance and open the face, because out of the turf, they could still hit their 56-degree sand wedge 70 or 80 yards set up like that off the turf. Do you understand?
Yep.
All right. And so we can't.
No.
And so we need to be squarer. Now, can you experiment and maybe be just an inch or so open and then maybe just open the face 5 or 10 degrees? Yes. The more you open the face, the more bounce you create on the bottom of the club. So it can help you to have bounce by doing that. The other reason why tour players open up and open their face up is they typically play with sand wedges that don't have very much bounce.
Okay.
4 to 6 degrees maybe on their 60 degree, 6 to 8 degrees of bounce maybe on their sand wedges. And so that's another reason why they have to open the face up. But if you all will buy a sand wedge with 12 or 14 degrees of bounce, you can play from a square position. Do you know how much yours is?
Looking, mine's 10.
10, so that's really not enough for you.
Yeah.
So mine's 13. So
probably need a little bit more than,
understand?
Yep.
Yes, and so that makes a lot of difference. I'll explain bounce in a little more detail later. But so that's another reason why they're opening up the face. And if we have the correct equipment for us, we don't need to open it up as much.
Sure.
Understand?
Yep.
All right. So I like to stay fairly square. I like an inch behind the ball to be in the middle of my stance. And so the ball then is going to be an inch to the left for a right-hander from the middle.
Okay.
And I don't want any forward lean with the shaft angle. I want this to point at my belt buckle and the leading edge to be at my belt buckle. And that's how I'm going to set up to it, is with the wedge perfectly straight in front of me. If I have forward lean, I'm going to end up hitting the leading edge of the club, and it's going to dig instead of bounce. And so I have to be able to use the bottom of the club here instead of the leading edge. And how you set up is crucial, okay? Do you understand that?
Yep.
So be an inch behind the ball, set up that way. Backswing, you do need to hinge your hands in a bunker shot. So I like my backswing to stop when my lead arm, my left arm for a right-hander, is parallel to the ground, and you'll be able to see that my shaft's on a 90-degree angle to my forearm there. And so that's where I'm going to be. I'm going to swing through and have a full finish on the way through and hit the sand correctly. Make sense?
Yep.
All right. So the first drill that I would do with any player would be to draw a line in the sand, which I've done here, okay? And then I would draw another line that's perpendicular to it. So Patrick's going to come in here, set up square with his feet to that, and just set up like the ball's here, like you're going this way. No,
okay.
like you're going
this way. Yep. Gotcha.
And so we're going to have no forward lean.
So my normal is like
that's a huge mistake right off the bat.
Okay.
The ball would be an inch in front of this line. So the ball line's out here. Good. And then we're going to just try to take a backswing back. Just stop there. Good. And then as you go through, your divot needs to start at the line and go forward.
Okay.
So we're going to try to hit the line and go forward. Good. So that's typically what I see with 90% of the people that I do this with the first time, is that they hit way too far behind the ball. So his club would have struck the sand 4 inches behind that line, or 5 inches behind the ball.
So I'm taking a lot of sand.
Yes.
Yep.
And it would have bounced into the ball.
That's my biggest
error. And it would have hit the lip and rolled right back down to you, or you'd have sculled it in the lake over there.
Those are my two errors with sand shots. I'll either hit it here and it comes right back, or I'll skull it over and I lose it.
Yep. So let's do it. Scoot up here. Okay. We need to start there with where we're bottoming out.
Okay.
So don't think about it. Just do it. Still too much lean there, but that's okay.
So one more here.
There you go, right there. That's the kind of divot we want.
Okay.
Keep doing it. Keep on going up the line. So you can draw this line in the sand and just keep going up. So too far behind it. So that means he's unhinging his hands too early.
Okay.
There you go.
That was good.
That was great. Good. And so you really can't practice this too much if you're a poor bunker player.
Well, you've even had this drill for full shots before too, right?
Yes, I have. Good.
Those are pretty good.
Those are great. The other drill that you can do that's the same thing, slightly different way of thinking about it, is you can draw little 6-inch circles in the sand. The ball would be in the middle.
Okay.
And all we're trying to do is knock that sand that's inside the circle
onto the green.
Onto the green.
Okay.
So let's do that. So that's how you'll learn to finish your follow through, is because the sand if the ball's going to get out of the bunker, the sand has to get out of the bunker first off, okay?
One thing, what do you like? Do you like to...
I do.
Get your feet kind of buried in just
Yeah, not buried, but I like however deep you're trying to bottom the club out under the ball.
You want to be the same
I like
level.
the bottoms of my feet to be that low.
Okay.
So that's about an inch in the sand for most shots.
Makes sense.
Okay. Yep, good question.
And for this drill, we're starting at the back and then trying to scoop out. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, your divoted start at the back of the circle. And then that circle would come out, and so would the sand. Do you see it?
Yeah.
The sand's coming out?
It's perfect.
Yep. Pretty good, huh?
Those are great.
So then, let's turn around and we're going to go up this way.
Okay.
These are my golf balls, and with a lake over here, I'm trying to save them. Nothing personal. But let's make that same shot, and we'll draw a circle around the ball, and you have to forget about the ball, Patrick,
Yep.
okay? So we're not even worried about the golf ball. We're just going to set up with no forward lean. That's still too much forward lean.
Too much even still there. Okay,
Yeah, so,
that's better.
Yep, so scoot back with your back foot this way.
Oh, yep.
There we go. No forward lean.
Okay.
Awesome. Now just splash that sand out of the circle there. Yep, but do you see where you hit?
So I was behind it too much.
Way behind it.
Way
Our
behind.
circle was right here.
Yeah, and I'm a foot behind it.
You are, and so that's what,
Okay.
but you have to have a point of reference to ever get it any better. If
Yeah.
you don't understand what's going on.
That's already a great visual. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
So I need to unhinge later.
Yeah, well, all you need to do is splash that circle
Okay.
out perfectly, and then you're okay. You're putting on that last one, though.
Yeah.
Good.
That's
Try
better.
It again. It was a little better. You hit the hosel.
Yeah. Oh, okay. A little shank on that
Yep,
one.
yep. So I lost the ball in the water.
So if I shank it, that means am I a little too close to it?
Well, either that or you just swung too far away from you, but you can
Okay.
get farther away and see what happens. With one shot, we don't really evaluate
Yeah, sure.
one shot. So all I care about is the circle.
Okay.
Good. Still on the hosel.
Okay.
Better on the circle, though.
Yeah.
So get farther away. And then let's take some practice swings again.
Okay.
We'll start with that circle. And this is pretty common. He's petrified of these shots, right?
They're terrifying. Yeah.
Yes, and there's no reason to be, but if you're hitting really poor shots, I mean, that's why you're terrified.
Yep.
So we've just got to learn to do it without doing it. And it's amazing to me that every time I draw a circle and there's no ball there, he hits it perfect. And
Yeah.
then when the ball's there, he does not make the same swing.
Mm-hmm. That's my problem with my entire golf game.
Yep. So, but it's pretty common. So just splash the circle out. Good. A little far behind, but not bad. Okay.
Yep.
So again,
Try to
yep.
go for the circle.
We're gonna go for the circle. Good. Still too much shaft lean. Good.
a little bit forward.
Almost, but
That
see
seemed
how
good.
far behind though?
Yeah.
See, our circle was here.
And we're going
and
behind
you're
it.
6 inches. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, some people say put more weight on your left foot, but it's really just learning to bottom out correctly.
Mhm.
So I still like the weight to stay pretty equal, maybe slightly left,
Okay.
but you just got to learn to bottom out in the right place. So I don't think getting left with your weight is the answer. All right, still too far behind it. Do you see where you started?
I do. Yeah. It's amazing to me that I'm coming so far behind it.
That's right. It is. Let's do it without the ball again.
Okay. I almost would be better closing my eyes.
You might be. We might try that next.
Yeah.
But see, without a ball there, you
I'm
do
great
pretty
without
good.
the ball.
Isn't that amazing?
It is.
Yep. Let's get up here a little where the sand's a little better again. So, another drill we can do.
Don't hit the stick.
Yeah, I mean, if I hit here,
Yep.
should I hit the stick if it's a circle?
Hopefully not.
No. So you can do the same thing. Put an alignment stick. I've got that stick 8 inches behind the ball probably. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yep. Try it again.
So that was a little on the hosel.
That's still on the hosel, so get farther away.
Okay.
But a good divot. So
Yeah. It seems like there's a correlation with that when I'm hitting it while I'm hitting off the hosel. So what does that tell you? Anything?
No, it tells you don't hit it on the hosel. So
I'm hoping
it's okay.
not to.
So scoot farther away still. Good.
Even a little bit more? Okay.
Sure. And the
Do
same
our-
thing.
our
That's
little
fine. Yeah,
check,
sure.
we
Get
like
your
this?
normal
Okay.
distance.
Yeah, this looks about. I think I was a little close on this.
I do too. So.
Okay.
Hey, that was better.
That was better. Still got a little on the hosel, but not as much.
Not as much.
Yep.
Wait for me.
Yep.
You shouldn't hit that ball either.
Okay. That's good to know.
Okay?
Yep.
When you're hitting the hosel, you're hitting that
I'm
ball.
hitting that ball, yep.
Oh my gosh, he hit a bunker shot.
How about that? That was great.
That was great. Let's do it again.
It's amazing to me how little things like that can just change how your brain works.
Again, so you shouldn't hit that ball. You shouldn't hit the orange stick.
Yep.
All you're doing is taking that circle out. It still came out. It didn't hit the hosel, but you can see you hit the other ball.
I did, yeah,
still.
so still got a little bit of it. But the main shot was pretty good.
It was. Understand?
Yeah.
And so that's how I would practice if I was you.
Put two balls there, yep.
I would. I
Okay.
would put 2 balls there, draw a circle around this one, try to splash the circle out, try to miss that ball.
I think on these I really got to be good about checking my distance.
I do.
too.
I agree with that too.
I feel like even that last one, I felt like I got a little close.
Okay.
Oh, well, I caught that one pretty good.
You did. Just not enough sand.
Yep.
So we're going to have to reload on golf balls here in a minute, but we'll let him have one more.
One more chance at
I
it.
think he lost another one of my golf balls. Good thing I'm on staff. That's a bunker shot.
That was pretty good.
That was great. You
Okay.
understand?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's hitting the sand correctly and not hitting the hosel. You can still shank them
yeah.
and do all that. I'm going to let him go pick up these balls, and I'm going to tell you a story while he's up here.
Sounds
Is that all right with
good.
you?
Yep.
So, I don't know how true this whole story is because it's been told a couple different ways. The way I learned it was this. Gene Saracen's arguably one of the best players ever. The Saracen Bridge at Augusta number 15 is named after him for making a 2 on that par 5, number 15, back in the early 1930s. Prior to that, he had gone to play in the Open Championship in Scotland, and he did not play particularly well because he hit it in a lot of green-sized bunkers with very steep lips, even back then, just like today they have over there, and he couldn't get out of the bunkers. When he came back home, he had friends that were back home that were inventors. And he said, we need to develop a club, build a better club that makes it easier to get out of the sand. So they went to work and they developed pretty much today exactly the same sand wedge that we had today. That original sand wedge is at the golf house at the USGA. It had 13 degrees of bounce, was 35 inches long, had about 58 degrees of loft, and he went back to play in the British Open and was afraid they would declare it illegal. So he actually played the tournament with the head of the club down in his bag so nobody could see it. But when he got in the bunker, out it would come. He would splash the ball out of the bunker. And he went on to be the Open champion. He ended up patenting the sand wedge with Wilson. And his design is still pretty much how most sand wedges today are still built. His friends, I've heard 2 different stories. I was told it was the Wright brothers. Other stories have said it's Howard Hughes. But regardless whether it was the Wright brothers or Howard Hughes, it was aircraft people, the early flyers if you really look at the bottom of your sand wedge, it looks like an airplane wing.
It does.
And what makes an airplane lift into the air also makes your golf ball lift in the air out of a bunker. So if we learn to use this wing on the bottom of our club correctly, we'll hit good shots. So Gene Sarazen pretty much recognized as inventing the sand wedge. There were some other designs as well, but generally credited with that. And if you understand how it's made, you can understand how to use it. We got some golf balls back?
We sure do.
All right. So a couple things. I like putting that alignment stick down. I like drawing lines in the bunker. I like learning to swing down my target line. So when I have some sand here, I don't want my divots swinging across that target line. I want my divots swinging forward and doing that correctly. Now the next tip I'm going to give you, I learned from Manuel de la Torre. And I'm sure we'll get some comments, but I've never seen anybody talk about this online, and I've never seen another instructor talk about it. We need to swing forward in the bunker. Our ball still needs to get out of the bunker onto the green. So we are not hitting down on it to hit the sand. If I just hit straight down, the sand does not come out of the bunker. Would you agree with that?
Correct, yep.
So I have to swing forward just like I do with any other shot in golf, okay? We want our ball going forward. And so, one of the keys to learning to hit the sand in the same place every time. So by the rules, we're not allowed to ground our club in a bunker, right?
Correct, yep.
So what most people do is they set up their normal way, their arms are straight, and all they do is stand a little taller, and so therefore they're not grounding their club. But when I do that, and I'm up here, well, now I either got to swing that way or that way to try to get my club on the ground. And so that's not the way to do it with your arms. What you should do, and you'll see many tour players do this, and most of them don't even know why. That's just something that's come natural to them. But if I, at address, bend my lead arm, for me a right-hander, my left arm, if I allow it to bend at the elbow as I don't ground my club, and then on my backswing I let my elbow straighten, I'm going to bottom out in the sand exactly the same way every time, because I'm changing this radius. I have a short radius when it's bent, and then when I straighten, I'm an inch under the ball. And so then, with my arms like this at address, and then straight, and then forward, do you see how easy that is?
Yeah.
For me to swing forward and to get the sand out. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So let me see you, Patrick. Let's do this.
Okay.
We're still going that
Go this
way.
Okay.
And go ahead and bend your left. Take your stance. Yep. Good.
Okay.
Bend your left arm even more, even more. Good. Club lower to the ground. Yep, right there. Now on your backswing, just let your left arm get straight, and then keep it straight, and then
Like
hit
that,
and then swing.
Okay.
So don't try to hit down on it. Just try to swing normal and forward. And so I think you'll see that you'll hit the sand just perfectly every time. See, that was perfect, didn't you think? So do that again. So our forearms.
That feels so funny to do.
I know. Farther from the ball, you're too close.
Oh, yeah.
Good. And then we're going to just swing, and out it comes. Do you see that?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. So now we're just going to put a ball here, draw a circle again, bend our arm, and then let it straighten and just swing. Oh, wasn't that beautiful? Huh?
I don't think I've ever hit one like that on the first try.
Yeah, that was great. Let's do that again. So I've given this lesson many times over the years, and I've always told people, you're paying me for a lesson. Don't tell anybody else this secret.
Guess we're
But
sharing
I'm
with YouTube
sharing
now.
it with all of you on YouTube. I'm getting old, so somebody might as well know it. But I promise you, this is one of the best ways to learn to hit bunker shots and hit the sand correctly every single time. Bend that arm a little farther away. Yep, good. Then let it straighten and then just swing forward.
Oh my gosh, that's like a cheat code.
Isn't that great?
That's awesome.
Yep. So that's one of the coolest things. And like I said, I'm not responsible for this. I learned it from Manuel de la Torre. My guess is he was a pretty smart guy, but he probably learned it from somebody else. He was a fan of Ernest Jones from Swing the Clubhead days from the early 1900s. So it's hard to say, but regardless, it's really the secret to learning to hit bunker shots. Isn't that easy?
That's 4 in a row.
I know.
That's
Have you ever
great.
hit 4 in a row?
No.
I know.
I've never really hit one good one like that before.
Good.
So.
Understand, folks? Let this arm, it just makes sense. We're not allowed to ground our club. If I have straight arms, I've got to have a poor path to make contact with the sand. When I have a poor path, I'm inconsistent with where I strike the sand.
Yeah.
But if I have correct club path, then I bottom out in the same place every time. And so if my radius is short, then it gets long, I'm going to splash the sand out perfect, and I can swing forward and hit great shots. Pretty
That's
cool?
awesome. Yeah, that's great.
All right. You like it?
Love it.
Good. No bunker show is complete without talking about plugged lies.
Yep.
Okay? Unless the whole location is really, really close to you and the greens are really, really fast, it's actually probably easier than a normal bunker shot. So don't panic when you get a plug lie. Just understand how you have to hit the shot. We can't play from an open face or even a normal square face, because if I hit behind the ball with the bounce of the club, it'll bounce into the ball since the ball's under the ground.
Yep.
So I have to be able to get the leading edge under the ball. And so, but what happens when if you do it correctly, the ball will pop up, especially most plug lies happen in the face of the bunker where you're on a slope anyway, and so that slope's going to help you get it up in the air. Okay.
Yeah.
And then when it comes out of this plug lie, a normal bunker shot, those last 4 or 5 that Patrick just hit, would have a lot of backspin on them, and they would stop really quickly. You can see how quickly those stopped, right? Yep. And they come out soft. But a plugged lie comes out like a knuckleball, no spin at all. You can read the label a lot of times if you really watch. And then when it hits the ground, it creates top spin, so it really rolls out.
Yep.
And so sometimes when I'm plugged and I'm a long ways away from the hole, I just assume the plug shot's easier than trying to fly it 30 yards in the air. I can just chunk it out of there. It'll have top spin. It'll just roll right down to the hole.
Yeah, okay.
So the worse it's plugged, the softer the sand, the more you have to close your club. I've actually, if this is a square face, I've actually played bunker shots in very soft, deep sand with a plugged lie with my club this close, because when that toe hits the ground, it'll always open as it hits the sand. So it'll open back up at impact, but start with it closed and it'll get you under. Now I've created some plugged lies here in this finger of this bunker, and this sand isn't really that fluffy, so I won't have to swing very hard. And it probably wouldn't plug in here very often from a normal shot. This sand's firm enough not to plug, but you'll get the idea. So when I have these shots, I'll move one out here where the camera can see it. When I have that shot and it's plugged, I can still imagine that line behind the ball about an inch away, Patrick, okay? I'm going to close my face and aim to the right because my face is closed a little. And then I am literally just going to, almost like I'm chopping wood with an axe, I'm just going to go straight up, straight down, and let that dig under the ball. So I haven't hit one here out of this bunker before, plugged, but if I do it, it'll pop out
right
and
out.
want to roll. Do you
Yeah,
see that?
absolutely.
So same thing here. That one didn't go left too much, but same thing there. I can hit down on it, out it'll pop, and do you see how it really wants to roll out? And so at least I'm out of these. Would you agree
Those
with
are
that?
awesome, yeah.
And these, so closed face, I'm just going to hit down on it. It'll pop out of there and it'll roll out like a putt pretty
And
good.
are you starting those with the same trick using your...
No, I'm probably straighter arms. That's
Okay.
a good question because I'm hitting down so much.
Okay.
So try that for
Yeah, I want
me,
to try a
Patrick.
couple.
Take a couple practice swings, and there's a line, so
Okay.
you have to be able to hit the line straight down
Okay, so we're really
just
getting
like that.
this.
and straight up and straight down like you're chopping wood.
Like that.
Pretty good, yeah.
A little bit far
You're
forward.
still closer to the line, yeah. There we
Like
go,
that,
like
there
that.
we go, okay.
So just step up to that ball.
Okay. Yeah, really get your footing on this one.
Yeah, you do. And
Okay.
just same
And
thing,
you still
up
want
and
this
down.
pointed at your belly
Yeah,
button?
sure.
Same thing, but we're
Sure.
just okay.
Same thing, and you're just gonna go straight up and straight down. So you gotta
Okay.
hit it
Yeah, I
a little
got
too far behind it, but try
a
it
little
again.
bit more, yeah.
Here, I'll move you back here a
Yeah,
little bit.
it's-
Good.
So do you think this is the bent elbow thing's a bad idea for this
No,
one? or-
try it.
I'm just curious. That seemed to help me so much with the other kind. Okay.
That's all right. Hit
So-
the hosel on that one.
Did it? Yeah, I feel a little. It might be part of the stance
that
is a little.
stance. I agree
funky
with
here,
you.
So.
But you got to pay attention to that.
Well, absolutely,
And not
yeah.
hit that hosel.
Yep. Try a little further away again.
Good. So just straight up, straight down, right behind the ball.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah, and you can see how much it's going to
That
roll.
just
Do you
rolls
see
forever.
that?
A complete opposite path than these other ones that
Right.
went up and just stopped. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But that's what it happens when it does that.
Yeah.
So plugged lies, more of a closed face, much more up and down, just straight up and down behind it. And
This is such a paradigm shift that I'm used to trying to play every bunker shot this and this just makes so much more sense to play it this way.
yep, I agree. It does. A little farther away. Good.
There we go.
And play it off the toe a little bit more there,
so
right
there
there.
you go.
If you're hitting the hosel, just
Yep.
play it off the toe a little more. And see how easy it
Oh.
comes out of there?
Yeah.
And you can see how much it rolls. That's really uphill.
Yeah.
Great shot. You're out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so you have to learn to play plugged lies and normal lies.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 3-to-1 ratio in distance on the normal lie. This one's just, hey, we're trying to get out first. If it gets close, great. The more you practice it, the better you'll
Yeah.
get. Controlling your distance out of there. Everybody's a little different. Change that radius of your lead arm. If
That's-
you start with it
that's a big one
shorter and
for
let
me.
it lengthen, you'll bottom out every time. And all we're trying to do is get that 6-inch diameter circle of sand out of the bunker and the ball will come out with it.
That's awesome. One of the things that's interesting to me is that I think I'm always afraid to hit a bunker shot hard enough because my miss has been sculling it out. And so then it's like, well, my brain doesn't want to do that. So I don't give it enough force
That's
because I
right.
didn't have the right technique.
But you're not swinging too hard when you're sculling. You're just hitting the ball and
Right,
not the
right.
sand. So yeah, I couldn't agree with that more.
But now with this new technique, I feel like I'll have the freedom to swing a little bit harder at it and get it the right distance.
Yeah,
So-
I do too. And then the one thing I didn't talk about at the beginning that I meant to was that, when you watch tour players and the announcers will tell you they're trying to hit it in a bunker on purpose on a long par 5 and 2 because they'd rather be in the bunker than in the rough.
Yeah.
And they would. They are great bunker players, but they're also playing out of bunkers that are maintained so perfect that it's actually pretty easy. they actually really don't have very much sand in the bunkers on tour at all. So they make it easy for those guys, really. And I'm not discounting the fact of how great of players they are by any means, but you rarely see a ball plug in a bunker on tour, and that's because there's only about an inch of sand, and then it's hard pan underneath in their greenside bunkers.
Yep.
And on fairway bunkers, they hardly have any sand in them at all. It's almost hard pan. And so they would struggle out of poorly maintained bunkers just as much as we do at public facilities.
That makes me feel better.
Right. And so bunkers are often very neglected at most public facilities, for sure. But even at the private facilities, a lot of them have way too much sand in them. And that's probably the worst bunker. But, well, the worst is if it's just mud and it has no sand. Then you got to chip it.
That was going to be my question.
Well, you got to chip it.
A lot of the ones I play at, you look at it, and it's basically dirt. And so then it's like if you try to do this technique, it just seems like you'll just scold every time.
My group would play them as ground under repair and not even play out of them. But I know it can be terrible. And so, but if it's properly maintained, like this is really good sand in here at Dalhousie, and you know, these techniques will work.
Yep.
And if it's the fluffier the sand you play in, if you live in Florida and it's really fluffy white sand off the beach, you need a club with lots of bounce. You need to really swing forward in those bunkers. If you swing down on those, you're in big trouble. That's where that left arm bent radius thing will really help guys down in Florida. Okay. And but understand condition-wise that what you see on TV is you would hit great bunker shots out of the bunkers they play on TV is what I would tell you. Most people would at least get out. And at least get on the green most of the time. But keep all this in mind. And it'll make you a better bunker player.
I feel more confident already. Thank you.
Good, you're welcome. All right. Good job.
Thanks.
I will say this, you'll see a lot of different things online. That's because there are different ways of doing this. And there's also, though, nothing really new under the sun, and I've been lucky. You know, I don't think there's many original ideas in golf instruction these days. Just kind of everybody putting their own terminology on age-old things, if you ask me. And so, I've been pretty fortunate. I got to meet Phil Rogers, who was Jack Nicklaus's short game coach and played on tour for quite a few years. Cobra Golf named their wedges after Phil Rogers, the trusty Rusties. So a lot of what I've learned on how to hit bunker shots, I've learned from him. I've also learned a great deal from Manuel De La Torre on how to hit bunker shots. I watched Gary Player hit bunker shots for 3 hours at Boone Valley one year, and was fascinating. And I was the only one there, him and I watched him practice and hit bunker shots, arguably the best bunker player ever.
Good person to learn from.
It is. I've got to personally sit next to a bunker probably in the early 1990s when Paul Azinger was just a rookie, however long ago that would have been. Somebody will comment on that, but I got to see Paul Azinger hit bunker shots. Arguably one of the top 5 bunker shot players ever probably that lived. So I've been influenced by a lot of people, and that's what I'm going to show you what I've learned.